Hey guys, Books Nelson here, back with another video, and today we'll be covering the latest news update in the blog, what cards are coming out tomorrow in the Aftershock collection. So let's get right into the content. First and foremost, thank you to all of the new subscribers. If you do like the content, please like the content and subscribe. Got to do the YouTuber stuff. All right, now let's get into it. So I want to talk about this thing first. This Trae Young triple threat update. So this is actually horrible for a number of reasons, but chief among them is the pink diamond tray was just in it's in one of the rewards recently, like on the way up. You get them like, I don't know if it's clutch time or one of those things, but the pink diamond tray. This tray is going to be the same. Like his shot's already fine, but he's teeny tiny. He's a teeny tiny point guard who can't play any defense. Why would we want to play 100 triple threat games for this? This is a real bummer. Because they literally, you're just putting in a de-incentivization to play offline. So that sucks. This coach card stinks. I think she gives you like a badge or something like that. It's bad. So we got the Shaq collection coming. We knew what they were doing. Man, I really don't like coming on here complaining. Like, I really don't. And you know what? I'm not going to complain. We're just going to dial it down to analysis mode. We're not going to get all emotional about this. We're just going to talk about the cards that are in here and what I think they're going to be. So let's go right from the top. Shaquille O'Neal. So the problem with Shaq is he's not that tall to be played at the center position, and that's his primary position. I don't think he's that good at center. He's fine. He's fine, but I do think any card that you shoot better with is going to be better. Because while Shaq is big and strong and fast and can run around and get to the rim, I don't think that that's as valuable. Like, really, how much different is it going to be than, say, a Dwight Howard card, right? Which Shaq would hate to hear in real life. So the fact that that's his primary position, and I think his best position is possibly the power forward. I think that that's the one you really want, because at the power forward, his size is an advantage. His athleticism can be an advantage. He can stop. He can defend the really good creative power forwards if they're especially the undersized ones, like say a Larry Bird. You can put him on that Larry Bird and succeed there. And on offense, all you're asking him to do is hit the corner shot, which again, his release isn't good, but I do think it's makeable. It's not quite as troll as it has been in previous years. I mean, it's not even troll. Shaq wasn't a shooter. He has big hands, and he has trouble holding the basketball when it comes to finesse stuff, right? So he kind of like wobbles in his hand in real life, and so that's represented in the game. So unless he gets a release change, keep it a buck. If you have a really good squad, I don't think any of these cards play. And this is really emphasized by the fact that people who have this 100 overall Shaq, I haven't seen. This is the one card I have not seen in the wild at all. I've seen Wemby, I've seen Kareem. You know, it seems like everybody got KP except for me. But yeah, I haven't seen this card in a while because Shaq cards at this time of year just aren't useful until their release gets changed. And I don't think I don't think that that's gonna change tomorrow. And this is really funny. To the ultimate fantasy and opponent nightmare of running Shaq as a point guard in my team. Like, you say, you put out something corny and cheesy and be like the ultimate fantasy. That's so weird. But anyway, moving throughout the rest of the collection, Draymond, basically the same thing as Shaq. Like, his release is going to be way sped up. The problem was his release was super duper slow before. He was only useful because he came out at a time where there were no other big point guards. But at his size, he's not even that big at point guard. Was he 6'6", 6'7"? We can take a look real quick. I pulled up the Shaqs just to look at their releases and his dribble animations. But honestly, like when we look at this overall Shaq, in fact, before we go to Draymond, let's look at that. So he's got Kyrie dribble style, D-book size up with Levine escape is bad. So this, like, already as a dribbler, he's fine, but not exceptional. Kobe crossover is actually fantastic. This makes him very cheesy going to the basket. The Curry moving behind the back is solid. The Curry snatchback is solid. But again, you're playing against this Shaquille O'Neal. You're probably off-balling and just sitting in the paint and waiting for him to do anything and daring the person to shoot. So this stuff all kind of doesn't matter because I know where you're going, right? If you're going to beat me with Shaq shooting middies and leaners and 3-pointers, be my guest, right? That's how most people are going to approach it. And if you're going to be that good at Shaq, you probably don't want this Shaq. You want a card who's better at that stuff anyway, right? If you're putting that much time and skill into the mode, put that much time and skill into a card that's going to reward you more. Like, say, Larry Bird. You get really, really good with that Larry Bird, and you can dominate your opponent because Larry Bird can literally do anything at the game at a high level. Whereas this Shaquille O'Neal, you're really struggling against this shot to be really productive. So, yeah, we were going to look at the Draymond Green. Draymond Green going back and forth with Stephen A, which is weird because Draymond like had a really bad run this year with all of like the choking this dude and swinging on that dude, and like it's like, dude, after the Jordan Poole thing, it's kind of like, wow, I thought maybe you would just play basketball for a while, but nope, he wanted to go nuts. So we look at this card. He had a 91 3-pointer, right? So his shot was on slow, and now it's going to be on very quick, but I don't think that's going to make the card much quicker. And height-wise, he's only 6'6". So it's the guy's the same height as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You know what I mean? This isn't where every other point guard is 6'3". So him at the point guard, I don't see as a big deal. They call this Aftershock. It's almost out of position because Nick Batum is out of position, Beasley's out of position, and Draymond's out of position. So it's kind of a weird set in that sense. But speaking of Beasley, on the other hand, might be eligible to be one of the best 2 guards in the game if they give him Jamal Murray behind the back. I mean, he's going to be one of the best ones regardless. It's more about, is he going to be in the same tier in that Glenn? So, right, Glenn Rice is still the best, obviously. But Dr. J and Ron Artest are outstanding still. Ron Artest, first dark matter in the game. Call him Opal if you want. So this Ron Artest is going to be 100 overall. Because, and I'll pull him up real quick, since we are actively not ranting and just in analysis mode, let's actually look at these cards. So if you look at Ron Artest, athletically, he was almost already at 99 overall in everything. Offensively, you can get all of these to 98 already. Driving dunk, you can get to 99. And defense, he had all 99s. So the only things he could move up on, really, are post moves, free throw, ball handling, pass accuracy, and rebounding, which are really things you don't need to move up in, right? So if you look at the stuff that actually matters, Ron Artest was pretty much, I mean, he was really a dark matter, like seriously, because he had all 99 defense, and if you put a shoe on him, he had very close to 99s in offense, athleticism, and driving to the basket, shooting athleticism and driving to the basket. And even badge-wise, and look at the badges that he didn't have. I mean, float game is fine, but you don't need it at all. Giant Slayer, again, fine, you don't need it at all. Masher and Rise Up is the biggest one from that standpoint. Obviously, you would give him open looks anyway. Now you won't have to because he's going to have all this stuff on Hall of Fame. So this is going to be probably a slightly better version of the Ron Artest that we have. He'll probably get Kyrie dribble style, which will be even better for him. His shot is fantastic. He doesn't need anything on his shot. And they're not changing shot bases at this point in the cycle, which is weird because that's all we need, right? That's why a lot of these cards, that's one of the reasons these collections are so kind of just boring and redundant, because for the most part, this Ron Artest came out in March, and he still, not only does he still play, he still outplays many of the cards that have come out after him. You know, don't get mad at me. Don't kill the messenger. But this guy's better than Dark Matter Tracy McGrady and Brandon Roy and, and I have the Jimmy Butler, and I love Jimmy Butler. Ron Artest is better than Jimmy Butler, and I love the Jimmy Butler card. That free Jimmy Butler they pulled out. If you put in the code, I hope you pulled out that Jimmy Butler because I think he's fantastic. Embiid's good if you didn't have a center, but yeah, Jimmy Butler was a no-brainer next choice. But yeah, this Ron Artest is basically perfect already. Shocking that this card was this good when they released him. So the Dark Matter, I mean, he's going to be great. It's just basically another chance to get Ron because there was no other way to get Ron. I don't think Ron's been in like a lot of, wheels and stuff like that. So, this is another chance to get Ron. But of course, before you get Ron, you got all these garbage Shaq standing in your way. And unlike last week where I actually wanted Larry Bird, I have no interest in Shaq, even on my no money spent. You know who's going to play on my no money spent? This guy right here, Mo Bamba. Much better shot. Played with him a lot in salary cap. He was great. Carried me to some not carried me, but he participated well in some salary cap wins. So he was awesome. Dorian Finney-Smith, DFS. I don't love his release, but maybe on very quick, I'll like it more. That happens a lot. Once a release is on very quick, that sometimes fixes it. In fact, I owe you guys a Quickly video because Quickly is way better than I thought he was. So just on the strength that I said I thought he was going to be garbage, and I think he's solid as an undersized point guard as far as undersized point guards go. Got to make a video about that. But Nick Batum, DBG said it best. His jumper's just super duper slow. It's very, very hitchy. He might be somewhat usable as a defender at the point guard position to play that Ben Simmons, Sohan style, right? I know some people like that, to just have a big defender at the PG. And Derek Fisher, again, extremely teeny tiny card, so he's not going to play. But you do get an Opal Mo Bamba, which is a big W. For anybody who doesn't have like a super duper elite 4 or 5, Mo Bamba will probably be great in that spot because he's got great height, great general frame. We'll see what the strength stat is. I'm concerned about that. But outside of his strength stat, everything else about the card should be good. And we'll see what SIGs they give him. This card could be a massive W. And looking at the rest of them, Dark Matter De'Aaron Fox, I think he's going to be better than people are saying he is. De'Aaron Fox is always super duper fast. He's got some great SIGs. His signature size up and his double cross is really good. Honestly, I'd rather play De'Aaron Fox at point guard than Draymond Green or Shaq or Nick Batum. And I know people are going to be like, that's crazy. He's undersized. I would rather a card that can score and shoot than a card that can defend and is baited and allows my defender to defend the rest of my cards a certain kind of way. Because I can deal with Shaq and Draymond Green trying to paint mash me. But this card, if they give him the right SIGs, he might actually be pretty solid. I'm not really super familiar with his release, though. Got to take a look at that, but he might be solid. So this is a first. No, this isn't a first. I'm bugging. So 100 overall, Klay Thompson is the 100 overall. Klay is an interesting card. Shout out to Spatial Jones, Next Maker, and a friend of mine. I am friends with some Next Makers, guys. I'm not, prejudiced against everybody in the program or anything. But yeah, Klay Thompson is a great card in the sense that he reminds me of a support character in like Overwatch or something like that. He just makes your team better. Just plays great defense, hits every shot, scores here and there, great at hitting his leaners and stuff like that. And who was it? Ty Debo would talk about all the time. Like he just raised Klay Thompson on his tier list because every time he went against the card, he got cooked. And I've watched a lot of Spatial Jones's gameplays, and he cooks with the card. He cooks with the card. He's not Ron Artest. He's not Dr. J. But for what he is, I think he is one of the best. I put him in the same tier as like Scottie Pippen, right? Scottie Pippen is just going to defend super well. He has just enough SIGs to get you some points, and he shoots well, and that's all you need him to do. And Klay Thompson's going to fit that mold. So if you have a point guard that creates very well, Klay Thompson's going to defend the 1, 2, and 3 way above his height at a high level and be a good card. Is he is he like, oh, I got 100 overall, this is so sick? We'll see what the SIGs are as far as that go, but I think at Klay's size, giving him 99 everything just doesn't make that big of a difference. So we'll see how that goes on the full breakdown. But the cards to watch out for tomorrow are for sure Ron Artest, Michael Beasley, and Mo Bamba. Those are the cards I really care about tomorrow. We'll see what they do SIG-wise on Finney-Smith. And I don't have high hopes. Well, Fisher is never going to play. Nick Batum, I don't know about that either. But I will say this. As far as troll dark matters, it could be worse than De'Aaron Fox and Draymond Green. I understand De'Aaron Fox is undersized. I get it. But I don't know. I like De'Aaron Fox. I think he's all right. I think he's been a little underrated throughout the year. I highly doubt I'm locking in this collection on either account. But I think, he's once they give him Kyrie dribble style with his 6 size up, that changes everything for him, And and he already has the Jamal Murray behind the back. So yeah, I think this card, don't sleep on this De'Aaron Fox. This De'Aaron Fox might surprise you. You know what? You can call me crazy. I would lock in hoping to get De'Aaron Fox, right? If I get Ron Artest, this is going to be. He's already one of the top 4 or 5 2 guards in the game still, and this will just be, he'll just replace his Opal. Very similar to, I think this is going to be very similar to Kobe's Opal versus Kobe's Pink Diamond. Kobe's Pink Diamond, at the time that the Opal came out, was still the best 2 guard in the game. And then he was also the best 1 and 2, right? So it's going to be the same thing. He's not going to be as good as Glenn because Glenn just has the patty base. But outside of Glenn, Ron Artest is going to be the next guy you're talking about in that conversation. He's going to defend the 1, 2, and 3 at a high level, and he'll be able to hold his own at the 4. You try to paint match Ron, you're going to find out. I can't sing the praises of Ron Artest high enough. And Michael Beasley, I believe it's Trey Man base with Kobe upper, one of the best jumpers in the game. Again, if they give him Jamal Murray behind the back, or even Halliburton or James Harden, this could be lights out because he's so tall at 6'10". Let's just double check on that before we get out of here. Double check his 6'9". So he's 6'9" now. And double check. Yeah, it's Terrence Mann. I might have said Trey Man. I meant Terrence Mann. But yeah, Terrence Mann base with Kobe upper on quick. It's going to be on very quick, which is going to be even better. This is one of those situations where I'm a little sad that he's going to be locked behind the gambling, because just for the fun of it, I have loved Beasley cards all year. And boy, would I love a way to get this Beasley. I don't even need him to be SG eligible. It's a small forward position. I'm fine with Beasley. I just love Beasley cards so much. And watching him do interviews has made it more fun to play with the card. And it just highlights what we don't like about the mode. But I said I wasn't going to make this a complaint thing, so we're not going to do it. And I'm going to leave you guys with that. So that's tomorrow's content, the Out of Position Aftershock collection with a very strange 100 overall Clay, and exactly what we predicted with a bunch of GOAT cards that you pretty much don't want any of them, to be honest with you. We'll see tomorrow. But for me, none of these Shaqs play. Like if I see that tomorrow, if I see that Dark Matter Glow, I'm hoping against hope is any of these cards over Shaq, which is almost the reverse of last week. Last week I wanted Larry Bird over anybody else. Not that there weren't other great cards, like obviously it was Kareem, but I knew it wasn't going to be Kareem if I saw a Dark Matter Glow. Whereas, you know, these other 3 cards were, all 4 of them really. Like James Harden's not a troll card, but I didn't want a 6'5", 100 overall point guard either. But if you see that Dark Matter Glow this week, I think it's better news than last week, because I do think all of these Dark Matters have a use. Even what I said about Draymond Green, I still stand by it, but he is going to be a great defender and do everything on the court well besides shoot. So, you know, hopefully his shot on very quick makes it less of a drawback. But that is going to cut it for this week for the news. We will see what this content looks like tomorrow. And good luck to all of you who are going to be rolling the dice. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much. Peace.